Good evening, TheoTrade. This is Corey Rosenblum, and you're watching the Theo, not the video, for the 5th of September here in 2023. It is a sector update today in tonight's video. We'll be looking at the 9 major sectors, what they mean about the broader market, where the strength is, and where the weakness is, both in the sectors, that's a top-down approach, trading ETFs, and of course in individual stocks. And we'll finish by looking at which stocks made 52-week highs and lows. Currently, 25 stocks are at 52-week lows, and about 11 stocks are at 52-week highs in a split market. Let's take a look at the broad picture as we come to the end of today's trading session. The Russell is our small cap, so small cap, Russell. That's down about 2% in today's trading session. The Nasdaq, which is a concentration of tech stocks, you can see some of them here, looking at Tesla, Netflix, Oracle, to an extent AMD, Intel, Meta. Microsoft is a leader, Qualcomm, and some others. They are the leaders in today's session. So that is pulling the Nasdaq up by about 1/3%. But that S&P is split down the middle. Taking a look at our market watch or heat map tool here, we see strength in these sectors, weaknesses in these sectors, making the advanced decline very weak in today's session. But that doesn't matter for the Nasdaq because the Nasdaq is those 6 stocks. And we're looking at you again, Tesla, which is up about 5%. Last week was Nvidia and some other stocks that participated. We'll come back to those in a moment. While we're on the stocks, let's actually flip the script and talk before we get into the main focus of tonight's video. And that main focus is on sectors. But first, let's take a look at which stocks in the S&P 500 made 52-week highs in today's session. So where are or is the strength coming from today? And these are just stocks making those highs. Berkshire Hathaway, Eli Lilly, Accenture, Intel, and others. Are there commonalities? Now, if you are trading these stocks, you do get some scan list of strong getting stronger. But back to the logic of today's session, we're going to talk about sector strength. And a lot of these come from the information technology or the tech-centric energy or tech-centric sector as well. Energy and industrials are in that mix too. So I sort this list by market cap. So again, these stocks are strong getting stronger, and we'll pull these into the sectors. There is Berkshire Hathaway. Eli Lilly continues the relative strength. We see Accenture and some of the other companies, Intel. Look at Intuit, AMAT, Applied Materials, and a few others. And those are in the category of strong stocks getting stronger, making higher highs, and arguing for bullish trades in the direction of that movement in the broader picture. But there are weakness, and the weakness stocks, we'll take a look at from the top down. That's Next Era Energy. These are stocks making 52-week lows at the moment. Hershey's, Kraft Heinz Food. We'll see American Electric, Dominion, General Mills, Cisco, Dollar General, and Dollar Tree, and Hormel, Kellogg, and Walgreens, ConAgra, and others. That is a sort by market cap, and those would be stocks you might want to trade at the top. But if you sort them by their sector, now we're going to talk about sectors, we see the same thing I've been highlighting in my sessions, that there is continued weakness and 52-week lows and underperformance and relative weakness and bearish positions in play for consumer staple stocks and utilities. So the stocks are making those lows continue to be from the weakest sectors so far in 2023. And a brief glance at some of these stocks show there's FMC, and that's the logic of weak getting weaker, playing bear or short positions into those stocks. There's Walgreens. Walgreens continues making 52-week lows. Cisco and Dollar General, those are just arguing that we did not have reversals. We had continuation of the downside for short sell opportunities. Dollar Tree, Kraft Heinz Food, these are consumer staple stocks. General Mills, ConAgra, look at Kellogg's, Hormel, and even Hershey's. Hershey's has had a major reversal. These are consumer stocks or consumer staple stocks. That will bring us to which sectors are strongest and which sectors are weakest. Let me thoroughly confuse you with this chart. What is this chart? This is the stocks. We'll actually do it this way, just plotting the XLU, XLK, and all the other stocks in the sector watch list. Right here, F financials, K technology, Y for discretionary, I for industrials, B for materials, E is going to be energy, the leader in today's session, right in front of technology. And we'll get to the defensive names, which are staples, P, healthcare, V, XLV, and finally XLU. Let's center the data around year to date. What have I done? This colored line, green and red, is the S&P 500, or the S&P futures. Anything above that is showing relative strength. So this red sector, and the red sector is XLK, that's technology, is up around 43% in 2023. Behind it, XLY, consumer discretionary, think retail, think Amazon and Tesla. Again, Tesla is up, the strongest stock in today's session. Those are the only two sectors, and I would even argue the only major components of those sectors are the big monsters of tech, Amazon, Apple, and of course Tesla and others. But those are the two sectors that have continued to outperform the stock market or the S&P benchmark throughout the entire year. And my thought is if something is strong, it tends to get stronger. If something is outperforming, it's doing so for a reason, and that will probably result in continued outperformance. And it works the other way too. Not as much concerned with the stocks or the sectors in the middle. Just a quick glance. I is going to be next. Next, the third strongest performer is I. We have a tie, roughly speaking, in materials and energy. Those are up about 7%. We have a clustering, and the clustering here is going to be F for financials. I have that green on this percent chart in 2023. So green is going to be our financials. And then the yellow performance is V, that's healthcare. And over here is going to be, we'll actually go back to this, back to our chart and our sector performance. And what we're going for is the weakest. And the weakest one, as we'll see, is going to be down here. The other one's going to be P, staples, and healthcare. So the weakest performer is utilities, not only on the broad perspective. Now remember, XLU has been the weakest performer sector-wise all through 2023, except for a little period here, and continues to be the weakest. It's actually down 12% so far in 2023. And there again is the S&P. And were it not for the monsters of tech, that S&P would probably be pulled down to here, up about unchanged or about 3% on the year, not the 16%. So what does all this mean? Sectors that are stronger keep outperforming. And that's where we find some of the weakest or some of the strongest names. Again, technology, technology, technology. And on the downside, or the weakest getting weaker. And those are where we're going to find a concentration of staples and utilities. As we go into September, and as we're looking at scans and stocks, these outperformers continue to outperform, and these underperformers, again, are there too. We can always take a look at the fundamentals of each of these sectors and which stocks comprise them, but the main idea here is finding strength and finding a way to join into the strength, or finding weakness and trading into the weakness. And if you are not like me, which is a trend trader, or at least a relative strength leadership trader, every other sector is flat and unchanged. So a quick glance at what these look like on the bigger picture. This is the financials. It's unchanged. It's flat. That means we do not have a trend. That means long and short trades. are favored in a range. I is a little bit stronger, a little bit of a trend, but materials, these are the trades as a range fade in materials. E, although it's outperforming with the strength of crude, we still see it as a trading range. P, which is staples, also a trading range. V, healthcare, trading range. But U, utilities, XLU, continues to make those new 52-week lows, and some of the key stocks in that sector for utilities would be Next Era Energy, Xcel Energy, First Energy, American Electric, Eversource, Evergy, Entergy, and Dominion, just to name a few. So keep these stocks forefront. These are the ones underperforming the market. Of course, the ones outperforming are the technology sector, and everything else is weaker, flat, or in some cases, unchanged in 2023. And we'll be watching these, of course, the range taking place in the Russell, the range taking place in the Dow, but it's the relative strength of these tech names and tech leadership that keeps pulling the XLK and the Nasdaq to new swing highs. As always, be careful and safe. This is Corey Rosen with tonight's Theo video update for September 5th, 2023.